I had a dream yesterday that my friend Obert was no longer living, and then I tried to look him up, but he wasn't online, but he's online now. Obert Hansen, but he's on mobile. Man, I haven't talked to Obert in a long time since I got my new apartment. He also got a new apartment too, but I haven't seen it since. He got like a table and all that. I'm proud of Obert. He's working hard. He's got his own apartment. Actually, I remember when Obert was in just house, but then he used to live in behind the house. But then, believe it or not, I was in an Airbnb. I went to it 2 times. I even have pictures where I had pizza there, everything. I was staying at Airbnb. It was the exact same place as Obert was staying, but in Canada. There was the house, and then it was behind the house. It was actually like a separate building, but this one had kitchen sink and it had bathroom and all that. I don't think Obert had kitchen sink. He had to go into his main house. Obert had to go to his main house, but then he since moved. He bought his own. He bought his own apartment. He has his kitchen. He has his living area. He has his office. He has his table. He has many things. But I haven't seen how many things he started to collect because I know once you get your own place, that's why I was excited. I was excited to see if Obert had got any new furniture or anything like that, or if Obert knows you can go to a place like and find furniture for a good price. That's what I did. I used to have the most expensive table. I'm going to get it again, I think, in the future. But even just any table is good in the meantime. I got these I for $50, I got my leather chair. I used to have DX Racer. You can ask Obert Hansen. I used to be DX Racer. But the handle on the DX Racer broke, and I think they were going to do a replacement, but I just never got around to it. I bought one of these DX Racers for $600 back in the day. The DX Racer. I might buy one again in the future whenever I have like the extra money saved. But I seen one on Amazon that's even better than DX Racer. It's like office chair, leather, everything, and all that, which is way cheaper than $600. DX Racer Master Series. It was the big one. I had the big one. I think even Obert Hansen had DX Racer, but I'm not sure if he still does. It's almost like you're sitting in a car chair, what have you, when you're on the computer. I think for sure I'll get more in the future, maybe in 10 years or 15 years. But for now, no, I don't need it. It's just like a DX Racer chair. I had it before. Okay, let's see if Obert Hansen wants to answer. Oh, I think, okay. I have to fix my camera. I don't think Obert's going to answer. Anyways. But I know Obert never have it as much stuff as me. I always had more than Obert Hansen. I just work harder than, but I hope Obert one day can achieve to be like his friend StacksAMilli. I know he does not own a firearm, StacksAMilli owns a firearm. So maybe one day over to Hansen can save his money and buy a firearm. It's very expensive over to Hansen. And you can learn the mechanics of instead of playing the games every day. But oh, I got a new computer. Over to Hansen. Oh, he was the motivation for this because Over to Hansen had he had what was it ROG. Over Hansen had ROG back in 2012. He had ROG. He had it since 2011 or something like that. Back when the Europeans or whatever, they got their ROGs. Because it's from Europe, I think, originally. And then it was like, StacksAMilli needs ROG. And he motivated me for, it's been almost like, it's been many years now. And he motivated me and all that. So now I'm at the point now, computers are going to come like nothing. Just got this new Asus Tough, and that's RGB. Look at the mouse I got. It's Logitech. It's a blue one. So I have my HP i7 here, and this is a Ryzen. I got a lot of things. Yeah, you've seen this. It has black diamonds on encrusted into the pipe. I got to try these marijuana. I got to do a lot of things that I always wanted to do. I always wanted to try these real marijuana blunts. These were hard to get back in the day. I remember when I was a kid, I seen some guy with these blunts. It's a famous photo. He had them rolled, and they were inside of his wine fridge. And I remember when I seen that one, I was like, wow, that guy's a mafia boss and all that with his wine fridge and all that. And then, hey, I got a package of them too. You can just buy them. They're not even too expensive. But I remember when I first seen them, I thought, oh my God, those be super expensive. I remember when I seen it, I thought this guy was the millionaire just because he had $15 blunt wraps or whatever, like with the marijuana leaf or whatever. Because back then, you could go to the convenience store. Oh my gosh, I remember my mind state back then. I used to think, what? Yeah, like you could go to the convenience store and you could buy just blunt wraps, tobacco, but then they had a whole gimmick like, oh, you can't buy marijuana, it's illegal. The way they made it illegal, and the way that it's hard to get. They uppriced everything for the kids, and it's like that all the time. It's like they spend so much money on that marijuana crap to become the stoner. But hey, it's sort of part of the culture to a certain extent for some people. Not all people. Some people's culture is the complete opposite. They don't. Their culture is to not smoke marijuana. It's part of their culture. They don't partake in it. They keep clean. They don't want anything to do with it. They don't even want to smell it. They don't want it around. If they smell it, they're going to call the police. And you got people like that, and that was like how my father is. But when I was getting near the age of 18, I started to think to myself, what's your drug of choice? Because a lot of people have drugs of choice and whatnot. I said, I think this marijuana is gonna be my drug of choice. I mean, I love this food stuff. I'm big into food, and I want to increase my appetite. So that's why I got into it. Well, actually, I returned back to Canada because in Tennessee, marijuana was really hard to get and illegal and all that. And I wanted to increase my position in the marijuana market when it came to being just a consumer. I wanted to have ounces of it. I wanted to have, because back in the day, when I first started smoking, it's expensive stuff. I'd hardly have a gram around, or like you run out, you're dry, and it's horrible when you're dry, and then you got to bug your dealer, and then before then you didn't know how you even met a dealer and all that. So then I was like, well, I'm actually like the majority of the stuff I do is actually pretty legal, and I'm a good person. And I heard Canada, like, because I'm born in Canada, so when I was down in the United States, I heard like, hey, marijuana is not such a big deal up in Canada compared to like you go to prison in Florida. The police will beat you up and send you to prison. And then I said, okay, so I'm bringing my whole future, my money, everything, my opinions, all back to Canada. We're going to see if it'll work out. I want to be a marijuana smoker because, hey, I like to smoke marijuana, eat food, and all that. Obama was just coming into office over there. And I was like, yeah, you can have firearms down here, but people are shooting and killing each other all the way around anyway. So I was like, I'm going back to Canada. So I went back to Canada. It turns out we could have firearms here too. It's just a different process. And then shortly after, I think, when did I move back? 2010. So around 2000. No, it took years and years to finally legalize the marijuana. It was back and forth. At first, everybody was saying they wanted to legalize it, and then I started to notice the ones that were trying to profit off not legalizing it. And there was a little bit of a battle, but then we had Justin Trudeau. He came right in. It took a little bit to iron out. He ironed it out, and then we legalized it. So that was a big thing, the legalization, the real legalization of the marijuana as a country, not just. I think it made it more legal in the United States, but like I said, in some states it's fully illegal. And it's illegal completely at the federal level, so it's sort of a really, really gray area. It's illegal at the federal level. That is the law. But in certain states, I guess you can have access to it where it's legal. But it's not like all out. In Canada, it's all out legal. In the United States, it's more regulated. They think they did more regulation in Canada, but that's not the truth. It's less regulation. It's just a big great sort. It's completely legal, and then they say you can't have more than 28 grams. You can only have 28 grams or something like that to buy, but you can actually possess more. So it's basically legalized, but you got a lot. I don't know how to explain it. I haven't seen any people getting in trouble for selling it. They said that illegal dealers and all that would get in trouble for selling it, but I've seen some illegal dealers, like the one Mike Buddy, and he stole my iPhone. So you still deal with, yeah, because listen, hey, if it wasn't an iPhone, if he would have stole like, if he would have stole like a bud from me or even $1, but you know how much an iPhone is, so of course I'm going to continue to remember that iPhone and say, um, of course, I'm going to remember that iPhone and say that the man stole the iPhone and that it's no good. That's my opinion. I would never go near somebody that stole my iPhone again. So you deal with some of those ones, but that's why you don't go near them, and then you just shop at the legal places, and those people don't even exist. They go back to just buying from the legal places. So there's a little market when it comes to delivery. But actually, in my town, the pot shop in my town does delivery. If you're thinking pot, but I think they did too much pot. I went to the next town over in where was it? Southampton, and it used to be just a there used to be a beautiful place that you could stop and have poutine, French fries, and French fries and vinegar, and you could pick up a burger and a hot dog and ice cream. It was the most famous place in Southampton. It was like right there on the highway. it was like the poster child to the town. It was like, when you come to Southampton, it's a family friendly environment where you can stop here at this main place where they serve this great food, and then you had the beach, and now they turned it into another pot shop. There's already 2 or 3 pot shops in Port Elgin. Southampton's supposed to be a smaller town. It's supposed to be like a haven. If you want to travel to Port Elgin to get your marijuana, that's what you should do, is go to the city. And they replaced the best little restaurant in the whole little beach town with another pot shop like we need it. That is the people that we have in power today. They just don't even know what they're doing. I mean, Port Elgin, how many pizza places do we have? How many Domino's pizzas do we have? Way too many. I mean, let's get to reality. We just keep talking about how the restaurants are this, the restaurants are doing that, not making money. Well, why do you keep shoving down pot and pizza down our throats when it should be other options? You only need 1 or 2 pot shops, and they're not supposed to be the main business in town. This place is the main business in town. It's a disgusting look. It doesn't make you feel Canadian when you drive by it. I've smoked so much pot, it's unbelievable. I want to have some, so I drive by my most favorite place to have some French disco fries and some other, and it's more pot. They don't know what they're doing. So have fun going out of business, because I guarantee they're going to be so mad over there eventually. It's going to go out of business, because I know business. And when you already have so much goddamn pot and you don't have any goddamn food, it's like these men are just dying, COVID-19, and the women too. It's a sad thing. Their ideas were horrible. Let's replace the best beach food spot in town, that's the highlight spot, and make it another pot shop where there's already so much pot, we're itching out of it. It's like you obviously got a bunch of dumbass criminals that are in the power. We legalized it, that's one thing. We have our pot shops, that's another. But when you start shoving it down the economy's throat, we start to think who's in power. It starts to change. We want to change it. We got our legalization. Now we got to get them out of power and switch it up, because that's not what we intended. We wanted it legalized. We didn't want it just like scattered everywhere and wiped all over everything. I guarantee they're not going to be a very profitable business, because there's too many of them. So if there was only a few of them or what have you, each location would be very profitable. But they're only going to be making small sales here, it's going to dwindle. People are going to get so sick of marijuana once they try it, they're never going to shop at that store. It's going to be a waste of space. That store could have been selling big amounts of food. But hey, once they stock up on that marijuana, trust me. Mark my words, I said the same thing about the COVID passports to everybody, that it was not going to be permanent, that it was just going to be a temporary thing. It's just impossible. Guess what? They developed this multi-million-dollar system to have it for what, a couple weeks? And then it was gone. And so like I said with this, it's not going to last. It's something temporary. They're going to die of marijuana poisoning. This was the reefer madness at the beginning of when they legalized. There was all types of stuff going on. There was bad investments. There was craziness. There was killing. There was robbery. There was everything that they say that comes with that marijuana. because they legalized it for one reason. It was only for the most wealthiest Canadians that wanted to legalize their marijuana so they could smoke it in their houses or their smoking chambers. Like my friend, my auntie Carolyn's friend, what's her name? Her husband has a smoking room in his house, and that's where he goes and he smokes his pipe. And then, like, we were supposed, yeah, that's what it was supposed for me. I'm a kid, sort of, but even my elders, I have my own apartment and all that and yada yada. But then we have our more wealthier ones that wanted to be able to smoke marijuana without the consequences of it being illegal, to where they would ever have to face any kind of prosecutions for smoking their for their favorite substance or their favorite drug of choice or what have you, which happened to be marijuana, which is a drug. You know, that's fault. I would charge anybody with fraud or anything like that. If you see anybody that says it's not a drug, that person is trying to confuse your mind state. It's definitely a drug. You want to watch how much you consume. It all comes in all that, because there is side effects. And some of the side effects are afterwards, when you're hungry afterwards, you ran out of money, you already spent it on marijuana, and that's not somebody like me. That's somebody like a Mike Buddy. You know, the guy that stole my iPhone. I'm kind of like this old guy here, eh? And once some of the bad ones, they want the marijuana, they do a lot of bad things to get it.